It's time for spooky season, where I am once again going to put all of my spooky-ish books on my October TBR, and we will see how many of them I actually read, because I pretty much put the same set of books on my TBR, my fall TBRs, every single year, and I maybe chip one off every year because mood reading is a problem. However, I am very much in the mood for spooky reads. It's my October TBR today. I do have some that are more atmospheric. I have, I think, only one new release on this list, and then I just have some other random ones that I want to read this month, so we will see. First up, actually I do have quite a few physically. First up I want to read is Black Sunshine by Karina Halley. So once again, this has made it on many a fall TBRs. This is a vampire romance, and I believe our heroine, so she is, I think, adopted, and she grows up, and then when she's in her early 20s, on her, I think, the eve of her 21st birthday, maybe something happens, and she doesn't really know what's going on with her, her entire being starts changing, and then she finds out that she actually is a vampire, or has vampire blood, and that her parents are not who she thought they actually were, or something. I remember I actually started this book on audio last year, and then I just put it down, not because there was anything wrong with the story, but because I really struggle with audiobooks, especially with new books that I haven't read yet. So I remember putting it down, but I was really intrigued by the premise of this, and as we know, if you've watched any of my TBRs, I'm always putting Karina Halley books on my TBRs because I loved My Life in Shambles so much, and she has such a big backlist and so many books of hers that I want to read. So Black Sunshine is just kind of the next up that I want to check out from her, and like I said, I think it'll be good for the time of year that we're in right now. Next up, so this one now has a new cover. So this is how old this book is, that I've had this since it was indie published, Gothicana by Runix. So this now is traditionally published, has brand new cover, sprayed edges, what have you, and it's available more broadly. But yeah, I still have the indie version of it that I have not read, and this is a gothic student teacher romance, which once again, how have I not read that? But I do want to say, I think with this one it is in third person, which I'm not the biggest fan of in romances. In fantasy, third person doesn't bother me, but in romances, I really like being in the first person POV, but I still really want to give this a go. Runix is an author too that I've been wanting to check out for years. I really want to also try the Darkverse series, so there's a lot of books that I want to read from Runix, but I think Gothicana is a good place to start. And so this one, actually, I'm going to just talk about super briefly. I had Nocticadia by Carrie Lake on my October TBR. I already finished that. I actually just finished it a couple of nights ago. I didn't know if I was going to be reading it in September or October. I buddy read it with Sam from Sam Reads a Little, and back when we were first talking about it, I put it on just jotting down in my notebooks, that way I didn't forget that I was oh yeah, we're gonna be reading that together, and I put it in October, and then we ended up starting it earlier, and oh my god, I loved it. I will be talking about it in my wrap up on Friday. I think that'll be Friday's video, but I loved that book so much. And yeah, it definitely put me in the mood for the dark, spooky, atmospheric vibes, because this just perfectly drops you in to that kind of setting. It was literally so good. I can't wait to talk about it. Basically, our heroine in this one, she ends up, her mother passes away, and she in turn wants to help kind of do research and go to medical school and kind of figure out what her mother's illness was, because she doesn't really have answers from anyone. And she ends up getting then this admission letter to Dracadia University, and she's I didn't apply because I can't afford that. She doesn't have the home life that could give her that, but she ends up going and accepting, and when she gets there, she meets Professor Bramwell, who is doing some research, and she really wants to join his lab. She's in his classes, and there she might be able to find answers that she's looking for. It's a slow burner, but very, very atmospheric, gothic, dark academia vibes. Literally perfect for October if that's what you're feeling. Next up is a new release that I have on this list, and completely different from some of the spooky vibes, and that is The Striker by Anna Huang. So this is her newest book. I am so excited for it. As you can see, I love Anna, and I am very, very excited for The Striker. This is a sports romance. It's a soccer romance, which I'm not the biggest fan of soccer, but did I just sound like JoJo Siwa there? That TikTok trend? Ew. Anyways, I think she is his physical therapist. Is she not? I could be wrong on that. Honestly, I don't really even know. I literally see her posting about this all the time, and have I actually paid attention to the blurb? No, not really, because I don't need to know the blurb for an Anna Huang book. She announces she's releasing something, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna read it. So the striker. We're putting that down. And also petition for her to make the man covers in print because, oh, I'm obsessed with the man cover. Next up, Chained Hands by T.L. Smith. Is that this one? So I still have this one in the foiling. This is my Mystic Box Special Edition. And the reason that I'm putting this one on my TBR, well, one is because I do think it sounded, oh shoot, now I of course can't remember the synopsis of this, but I remember. So I am a Mystic Box subscriber, and I have the one where like you don't get to skip any boxes, you just like have the year set. So I obviously, when this one was announced, I have never heard of this duet. I've never read anything by T.L. Smith. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this box in, and then kind of what I want to start doing with my Mystic boxes, with the ones that I don't know the books, I want to read them. Not like, I don't really like reading my special edition, so I'll read it on Kindle, but I want to read this, and then if I love it, then I keep it, and if not, then I will sell it. And sell it for what I paid. I'm not gonna scalp anyone. But this actually sounded really good, and these covers are stunning. Like, where's the second one? Like, these are so beautiful, so I really, really hope that I love this, because honestly, I'm kind of just tempted to keep these just because they're so pretty. Like, they are genuinely, I think, some of the prettiest covers Mystic has done in a while. But I think this one, is it Captive? I want to say she may be sold, and then the guy like swoops in and saves her, or it's the guy that bought. I don't know. I don't remember. Gosh, you know, I always say like I love doing TBR videos because they are like easier to do, because obviously I don't really have to like go in depth because I don't know in depth. But then when I can't even remember what they are about at all, then I just feel stupid. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a dark romance. That's what I'll leave it at, and I want to read it. Next up, one that I'm still, if you are my friend on Goodreads, you've seen that I've marked this as currently reading for, no, don't break the Jesus smut. Oh no, I need to fix this bookmark. Oh no, it's literally unraveling as we speak. Oh no. Anyways, Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas it just broke. Anyways, it's my Jesus smut bookmark, and I don't want that to be broken. Anyways, Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. Yeah, have I been reading this for like 2 months now? Yeah, am I still on chapter 3? Yes. I have not been reading physically, like, at all, quite frankly. One, I was having some, like, hand issues with all of my cross-stitching and typing and editing and reading, like, just whatever. My right hand was in pain for a while, so it wasn't comfortable to read physically. And then now I've just been lazy, and pretty much all my reading time has been in bed at night, and I don't want to be reading an actual book. But I really want to finish this. This one is a like spin-off kind of Tri-Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. That's a sapphic bully one, and one of our heroines in that one, she has 5 brothers, and this one follows the 5 brothers, and then Christian, our heroine, who she is hooking up with one of the brothers, but then after something happens one night and she's at a party with some of them, she ends up hooking up with another one of them, but she doesn't actually know which one it is. And I mean, there's more to it, but whatever, I'll leave it at that. Oh no! Oh no! You guys just witnessed the end. Well, I mean, that's still fine. Look at it. R.I.P. Jesus bookmark. He was smiting me for that. Next up, another book that was actually on my September TBR, but I didn't get around to it, but I still really want to, is Soul of a Witch by Harley LaRue. This is the 3rd and final book in the Souls trilogy. I have loved both of the first 2 books so much. I'm very, very highly anticipating this one. I think I'm going to love it. Everly is a character that I've been looking forward to since book 1. And in this, I'll kind of give a brief overview, because obviously I don't think you can read this one as a standalone. You might be able to, don't take my word for that, but I don't want to give away like any, I guess, plot stuff leading up to this one, because like I said, I do think you should probably read the other ones, because you do see Everly quite a bit as a side character. But anyways, there's this like spooky-ish town, right? And there's this secret society that tries to like sacrifice people, and the heroine from the second book, they tried to sacrifice her and she survived, and then it's her getting her revenge with a demon, her hot demon man. And then in the first book, our heroine moves back to town when these like murders start happening again for this cult, and she also accidentally summons a demon and has a hot demon man. And Everly is a witch, but so she's different than just like a human woman, but then she also has a hot demon man. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, because once again, I don't really know, and quite frankly, I'm exhausted. I've had a long day, so we're just gonna keep it moving. If you want to read the full in-depth synopsis, you can do so at your leisure. It's a witchy book, and I love Harley LaRue's writing, so I have no doubt that I'm going to absolutely love that one as well. Let's see, Phantasma. I think that's how you pronounce this, by Kaylee Smith. So this one I actually found a couple of weeks ago, I think I was actually on FaceTime with Sam because we were talking about Nocticadia, and then this one had popped up on, like, I was pulling it up on my Kindle, Nocticadia, and then I saw this one like in like Kindle recommended books for you, and I was like, this cover is really pretty, let me check on it. And then I read the synopsis and I was like, dude, this sounds so good. I think she actually read it and enjoyed it, but I think this sounds amazing. It's like a fantasy romance, and our heroine, so I'm pretty sure her like sister dies and then she inherits some of her sister's powers, and then in order, I think, to maybe like break a curse, she has to like compete in these games in this like haunted manor, basically. And I think it is like a game to the death, maybe. I don't know. I just remember when I read that synopsis, I was like, well, yeah, that sounds good. Sign me up for that. And I'm just kind of in the mood for fantasy too. I think I'm just like not really feeling like contemporary romance at the moment. And especially because I'm like mood reading and still kind of coming out of my slump, I just like don't really want anything like super contemporary vibes. So I'm thinking that this is going to really help even more with that kind of like mood that I'm looking for, with like fantasy and gothic and just different, you know, just different, right, Dorian? Oh, and you're gonna plop. Sweet boy. Next up, again along those same lines, Master of Salt and Bone by Carrie Lake. So this one I've actually had on my TBR, I think I want to say since like 2021. Like, it has been years that I've had this book on my TBR. However, now I am like have a renewed interest in bumping it up because of how much I loved Nocticadia and loved Carrie Lake's writing, that I want to give this one a go. And I think this is another like dark gothic kind of romance where our heroine, I mean, honestly, the blurb was like, even when I read it back, I thought that it was like a play on Phantom of the Opera, which I could be wrong. It doesn't say anything about that in the blurb. I thought it was. I could be off, but I'm pretty sure our hero has this like manor and he's like this outcast and it's on like a lakefront or something. And then our heroine maybe like sees beneath the surface of him. I don't really know. But I think she's also kind of like an outcast, and I think they kind of like go and be outcasts together. I don't know. It's not, yeah, it's just, I want to read it, okay? Saying that I've kind of been staying awake from contemporary, yeah, I mean that, except of course when it comes to hockey, because hockey season is officially back. By the time that this video goes up, it's gonna have been like the previous week, but the Rangers in their second preseason game where they scored 5 straight goals in the third period, like, hockey seasons is so back. And I want to read The Pucking Coach's Daughter by S. Mastery. I have never read anything by S. Mastery before, and I honestly feel like when people find that out who watch my channel, they're like, how have you not done that? Because of how much I love hockey romances and how much I love dark romances, and she melds the two together. But I don't feel like committing to a series right now, so I found this one on her author page, and it's a standalone, and it's an MFM. I'm pretty sure these two hockey guys end up dating their coach's daughter. Once again, the actual synopsis escapes me. I don't really need to know more because it's darker, MFM, and hockey. I'm sold. Next up, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. So I have actually already read this. However, I'm putting it on here because I need to be accomplished with checking things off. And I recently just got my hold in from the library for the audiobook because Onyx Storm is now like, you know, teasers are starting to come back out. I still have not read Iron Flame. So I read Fourth Wing last year. I absolutely loved it. However, then when Iron Flame came out, yeah, I didn't read it. I don't know why, like I got it in the mail and I was instantly not in the mood for it anymore, and I didn't pick it up and read it. However, I don't want to fall too far behind in this series, so I put a hold on the audiobook for Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, so that way I can reread Fourth Wing, read Iron Flame for the first time, and then be ready for Onyx Storm. So Fourth Wing is a fantasy romance with dragons, and it's kind of like a Hogwarts type academy, but for dragon riders. Basically, like, you go and you join one of the different, like, if you want to be a scribe, if you want to be a dragon rider, whatever. And of course, Violet is like, she wants to be a scribe because she like, it's more like, oh, I'm not built for dragon riding. And then of course she becomes a dragon rider. And of course she ends up falling in love with the enemies, or like the guy who hates her because like her mom killed his dad, whatever. Anyways, they hate each other, but then of course they end up falling in love. So yeah, fantasy romance. I really loved it the first time around, and we'll see how the audiobook is. So next up, another spookier one, Fated by Liza James. So actually I think this one is kind of like an apocalyptic and I think like angels romance. So I love Liza James's books, but I have only ever read her sapphic romances, and I think this one is MF, and she doesn't write MF anymore, but Fated and Descent is a duet. Dorian, can you not pick on your sister? You guys saw that, right? She's been sleeping off to the side there. Then he ran over there, got her up from her nap, and then chased her over here. Hi, Queen. I'm so sorry that he's bothering you. He's such like little brother vibes. I don't actually know who's little brother or little sister because they're part of the same litter. And I don't know who's born first, but I feel like Dorian gives little brother energy. Anyways, yeah, I think this is like apocalyptic or whatever. But I'm just interested to read something like completely different like this from Liza James. Because again, the only other ones that I've read from her too have been contemporary romance. I mean, they've been dark, which I'm pretty sure this is dark, but I think maybe this gets paranormal-ish. I don't know. I'm excited because I love Liza James, so I'm excited to read more in her backlist. Then I want a little spooky novella, and I saw someone talking about this one on TikTok, and I said, yeah, sure, let's add that. That sounds like fun. It's like 100 pages of like a cat and mouse game at a carnival, and that is No Place to Hide by Harper Ashley and Ren Hawthorne. So yeah, pretty much I think our heroine, she like goes to the carnival looking for a fun time, and then our hero is like a worker there and ends up seeing her, and they basically then he doesn't do his job. I think he then just ends up like pursuing her all night, and like they hook up around the carnival. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. That's the book. That's that. And last but not least, as we know, I am trying to make my way through my physical TBR. Has this worked any of the months that I have done this previously? No. But also I was in a horrible reading slump. So we'll see. This is a jar that I keep all of my physical books in that I have not read before. And that is the last book that I add to my TBR every month. So we will see. Oh, this one fell out. Okay, so we'll just go with this one. See what it is. In Silence She Screams by Amo Jones. So that... Okay, so that's technically the third book in the Midnight Mayhem series, and what I'm going to do then when I pull, like, a different number, because obviously then I haven't read those three, I've only read the first one, I'm going to then actually do book 2, because obviously I don't want to read them out of order. Actually, this is kind of perfect, too, because it's, like, good spooky vibes on it. Okay, good job, TBR jar. So I will jot this one down, and I will put the little slip of paper on top of that. I'll leave that out so that way I remember. Oh, but anyways, this is like this is a dark romance series, and it's like a kind of carnival type thing that like rolls around. But I think this is from different characters. Like I think they're all interconnected standalones. I don't think this is the same couple as the first book. So anyways, we will see. It's been a long time since I read In Peace Lies Havoc. So, right, that's the first one? Yeah, it's been a long time. So we will see if I remember what's going on. That is it for today's video. Like I said, Friday will be my October wrap up, or not October, September wrap up. And yeah, who knows after that? I couldn't tell you what'll be up next, but you'll have videos. So anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.